All right, let's talk about syncope. You know that patient who just passed out? Are they having a simple faint, or are they literally seconds away from sudden cardiac death? Figuring that out is what separates a good clinician from a great one. And honestly, it's what separates a passing score from a top score on your exams. So today, I'm going to give you a super high-yield framework that will let you walk into any syncope case with total confidence.
So here's how we're going to do it. We'll start with the absolute basics, the first principles. Then we'll get into the core pathophysiology, learn to split between cardiac and non-cardiac causes, nail the high-yield workup, talk risk stratification, and finally, I'll give you the ultimate framework to just crush any syncope question you see. Okay, let's dive right in. To really master syncope, you need a rock-solid foundation, and that always starts with the core definition, and maybe more importantly, knowing what it isn't.
This is the one question that you've got to answer every single time. Is this just a benign faint, or is it a warning shot for something truly terrible? Your ability to answer that question fast and accurately, well, that's what this is all about, both for your patients and for your exams.
Let's really break down the official definition, because trust me, every single word here is testable. Transient means it starts and stops all by itself. The cause? Global cerebral hypoperfusion. The whole brain, for a brief moment, isn't getting enough blood, and the recovery is spontaneous and complete. They wake up on their own and they're back to normal. No lingering effects.
So before we go any further, we have to rule out the mimics, and examiners absolutely love to test this. You see a patient with a post-ictal state, that prolonged confusion after they wake up? Think seizure, not syncope. Hypoglycemia? That comes on gradually and they won't just wake up on their own. They need glucose. And in psychogenic pseudosyncope, look at the eyes. They're often clamped shut. True syncope doesn't have any of that.
All right, let's get into the physiology. And you know what? It's actually beautifully simple. Understanding this is key, and it's going to be our first memory anchor. Okay, here it is. Memory anchor number 1. I want you to burn this formula into your brain. MAP equals CO times SVR. Mean arterial pressure, that's what keeps the lights on in the brain. It's driven by your cardiac output and your systemic vascular resistance. So think about it. What's the root cause of every single case of true syncope? It's simple. It's a sudden, catastrophic drop in either your CO or your SVR. That's it. The whole game boils down to this one equation.
And just how fast can this happen? You won't believe it. A critical drop in blood flow to the brain's on-off switch, the reticular activating system, can cause a complete lights-out loss of consciousness in just 6 to 8 seconds. That's incredibly fast.
So once you're sure it's true syncope, your next job, your most important job, is to immediately figure out if this is one of the life-threatening cardiac causes or one of the much more common and usually less scary non-cardiac ones. This is the critical branch point.
And this slide lays it out perfectly. You've got 2 buckets. On one side, you have cardiac syncope. Think arrhythmias, structural problems. This bucket carries a high mortality. On the other side, you have non-cardiac causes, like a simple vasovagal faint or orthostatic hypotension. These are generally benign. Your first job is to figure out which bucket your patient falls into.
And how do you do that? With these. These are the high-yield red flags that examiners will throw at you again and again. You have to know them cold. Passing out during exercise, passing out while lying down flat, a sudden collapse with zero warning, feeling palpitations right before, or a family history of sudden death. Any one of these should be screaming cardiac in your head until you prove otherwise.
And here's something you have to watch out for. Exam trap number 1. I guarantee you'll see this. They'll give you a patient with known AFib who passes out. It's a classic distractor. But listen, isolated, rate-controlled AFib, it's almost never the real cause. It only leads to syncope if the heart rate is absolutely screaming fast or if the heart is already failing. So please, do not fall for that trap.
Now for our second memory anchor. This is such a powerful clinical shortcut, the prodrome rule. If your patient describes warning symptoms, getting nauseous, feeling hot, their vision closing in like a tunnel, that points you strongly towards a benign vasovagal cause. But the absence of a prodrome, just a sudden lights-out event, that's a massive red flag for a dangerous cardiac arrhythmia. Okay, let's take a quick micro pause right here. Just for a second, in your head, quickly recall those 3 main categories of syncope we just talked about: cardiac, reflex, and orthostatic. Got 'em? Good. Let's keep going.
All right, let's move on to our diagnostic toolkit. The key here is to be a detective. to gather clues in a really systematic, high-yield way.
This is so foundational. In more than half of all cases, these 3 simple things are all you're going to need: a great history and physical, a set of orthostatic vitals, and a 12-lead ECG. And let me be clear, the ECG is the single highest yield test in the entire workup. Every single patient with syncope gets one, period.
And these are the ECG patterns that can literally give you the answer on a silver platter. You have to commit these to memory. Recognizing Brugada, long QT, Wolff-Parkinson-White, HOCM, or ARVC on an exam ECG, that is a direct line to the correct answer. These are just classic high-yield giveaways.
And here is another absolutely critical point for your exams. Exam trap number 2. A normal ECG feels good, right? It's reassuring, but you cannot stop there if the story sounds suspicious. Remember, an ECG is just a 10-second snapshot in time. A deadly arrhythmia can come and go. If your clinical suspicion is high for a cardiac cause, a normal ECG doesn't clear the patient. They need more monitoring, like a Holter.
Okay, we've gathered our initial clues. Now it's time to make the big, high-stakes decision. Who's safe to go home and who needs to be admitted right now for an urgent workup?
So let's apply what we know to a classic exam vignette. You've got a 75-year-old man, history of congestive heart failure, he passed out, his ECG is abnormal, he's short of breath, and his blood pressure is in the tank. How do we formally risk stratify this guy?
This is where a validated tool like the San Francisco Syncope rule comes in handy. I want you to remember it with the mnemonic CHESS. C for history of CHF, H for hematocrit less than 30, E for an abnormal ECG, S for shortness of breath, and the last S for a systolic blood pressure of less than 90. Here's the rule. If your patient has even one of these, they are high risk, and they get admitted.
All right, pause for a second. This is an active recall checkpoint. Based on CHES, does our patient need to be admitted? Well, let's see. Does he have a history of CHF? Yes. Abnormal ECG? Yes. Shortness of breath? Yes. Systolic BP less than 90? Yes. He meets 4 of the 5 criteria. This is an absolute, clear-cut admission for an urgent workup. No question about it.
Okay, let's put it all together. I want to boil everything down into a simple, powerful framework that you can use instantly to attack any syncope question that comes your way.
This 4-step algorithm right here is your key to success. Step 1, is it really syncope or is it a mimic? Step 2, scan the history for those cardiac red flags we talked about. Step 3, what does the ECG show? Always check it. And step 4, use a tool like CHESS to decide if they're high risk. If the answer is yes, the next step is always admit and investigate. Exams reward this way of thinking. Find the dangerous stuff first.
And that's a wrap. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. You now have a really powerful framework for syncope. To make sure this all sticks for your exams, I want you to go and download the attached high-yield notes and the quick revision colorful mind map right now. Use those resources to absolutely master this topic.